Alright everyone, welcome to Pillars of Eternity. This is Namhart Elkor, and I have decided to do a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. I decided to take a break from Dark Souls because my controller, I've been having a lot of trouble with my controller. I've been having some problems, and I don't exactly know what the problem is because I've been having it with both Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. I don't know if it's exclusive to those games or if it is a problem with the controller. But this music is rather loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Sound. This is 10%. There you go. That's fine. Anyways, decided to play some Pillars of the Eternity. I don't know how long I'll be playing for the episodes, that is. But we'll just have to see. I guess I'll try 30-minute episodes, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. I have played a little bit of this game, just like the first beginning section. I've got about 4 characters going. But I will try to keep it mostly blind. I'm not sure what kind of character I'm going to want to play. We'll see. Excuse me.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken several in, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree bars the way ahead. You will go no further.
All right. And now, if I remember correctly, it should be the character creation screen. Alright, so I tend to take a long time with character creation. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this character, and then, I don't know, I might speed it up or I might simply cut. In fact, yeah, I think I'm going to cut here, and then after I'm done creating the character, I'm going to start the recording again and just go back through the character that I'm going to be playing as. So let's pause here, and I'll see ya in just a couple of seconds. Alright, welcome back. as you can see, I have finished making this character, and I have decided to go with a female fighter character. I guess we'll start with the stuff that's least important and then go to the most important stuff. First off, I decided to play a female character. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. I just felt like I usually play male characters. It might be more interesting to play a female character in this story. I'm not sure if that's going to come into play at all, but I think that it could be fun. Got Miss Sandra, level 1 fighter. I chose the stoic voice.
Nice and slow. Yeah? Follow me.
As far as the appearance goes, this is, well, I mean, you can see what I've chosen. I guess I can change this a little bit. Something a little less dreary looking. Maybe like I don't know, like that. That looks good, I guess. I don't want to go anything like hot pink or anything like that, because that's just silly looking to me. Not a noble character. In fact, gray might make more sense. Something gray. I don't know. Now I'll go with this. This seems good. As far as background goes, I decided to go with a Ratai, I believe is how it's pronounced, Ratai character. The lore behind it is dominated by the Amau nation of Ratai. The Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Auma, Orlin, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the East. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. And it grants +1 constitution. We'll be going over stuff as we encounter them, but later. I also decided to go with the slave background, because I think it could be interesting to play a character that just got out of freedom, doesn't really know the world, doesn't really know anything other than serving other people, and is now trying to take on this new world for herself. We don't know what she did as a slave, or why she is recently free, but I'm sure we'll find that out as the story continues. I'm not entirely sure what kind of character I want to play. Maybe a sly type of character, like a clever type of character, or something like that. I don't know. As far as attributes go, Constitution and Resolve, according to this, are the most important attributes for a fighter, with Might being a secondary attribute. So I made Constitution and Resolve the highest stats. I also have realized that Perception is pretty important when it comes to the character. I reduced Dexterity a little bit from 10 to 8. I'm sure Dexterity is important, but it's not going to be all that important for this character, I don't think. We'll see as things go on. I haven't really noticed a huge difference in having high and low Dexterity, but there may be. I may have to look it up on like a wiki or something like that to see, but who knows. I like having high resolve characters or high charisma characters in games, because I like being able to have the option of going a diplomatic route, and that's that tends to be the sort of character that I go for. Characters that can talk their way through things without having to fight, if need be, if possible. So the descriptions for all of these are resolve. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps a character maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. Highly recommended for fighter. I get +1 resolve for being a human, plus because of I have 16 resolve. See, the numbers go down as I decrease and increase my resolve. As is the case with all of these. +18 concentration. I don't think concentration is really going to play much into this, but +18 concentration, +6 deflection, and +12 will. So that's a lot of blue words. Let's go over them one by one. Concentration. A character's concentration determines how likely they are to have their spells or attacks interrupted during combat. Every point of resolve increases a character's concentration and is opposed to the attack's interrupt rating. Like attack rolls, interrupts use a randomized roll to determine if the interrupt is successful. If concentration is superior to the interrupt rating, the interrupt is less likely to occur. So that's a lot of information and just a little bit confusing, but essentially what it is as long as my concentration score is higher than the other person's interrupt score, I have a less likely chance of my attack or spell not going off. I don't have any spells. I don't think fighter gets spells, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see if I get any abilities that would come into play. Now let's go for will. The will defense opposes attacks that are mentally based, e.g. a spell that mentally paralyzes the target. It is defined by a character's class level intellect and resolve, but may also be influenced by other effects. So, will is essentially, if you played 3.5 edition D&D, it's the will saving throw for characters in D&D 3.5 edition. It's like it allows you to resist mental spells and stuff. Deflection. Deflection is defense used to resist direct melee and ranged attacks against a character that are not area of effect. It is defined by the character's class level and resolve, but may also be influenced by shields, certain weapons, talents, and other effects from spells or items. So what I understand is deflection is essentially D&D's armor class. Defenses. There are 4 defenses in Pillars of Eternity: deflection, fortitude, reflex, and will. Each defense is used for a different category of attacks through the attack roll. Attacks through the attack roll. Deflection is used to resist most direct weapon attacks or attacks that are similar to weapons. Fortitude opposes physical attempts to overpower a character or attack their body internally via a poison. Physical area effect attacks that, like fireballs and lightning bolts, are resisted by reflex. Almost all mental attacks are opposed by will. Fortitude, reflex, and will are all based on pairs of attributes. Might and constitution define fortitude. Dexterity and perception define reflex, and intellect and resolve define will. Base deflection is defined by the character's class and resolve. All characters gain flat bonuses on their defenses every level. Additionally, spells, abilities, afflictions, and other items can all modify a character's defenses. That's a lot to take in. But, it's not hard once you know analogy or description, but I don't know what else to say. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be useful for realization and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and areas of effect, for all abilities and talents. So, this is more for like a spellcasting thing. There are some social implications that could be good in the future, but I don't think this character is going to be super intelligent. As you can see, I've got her at 10 intelligence, which is not smart but not dumb. You're an average person when it comes to intelligence. Perception. Perception represents a character's sense of perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants bonuses to interrupt. Alright, so we've got a little bit here. Let's look over it. Accuracy is part of almost every attack. It influences how likely the attack is to affect the target. Accuracy is defined primarily by a character's class and level, but it is also influenced by perception, talents, and other active effects such as spells or items. When an attack is made, the accuracy is compared to the appropriate defense on a target to determine how the attack roll will be modified. If accuracy is above the target's defense, it will be more likely to result in a hit or crit, less likely to result in a graze or miss. Any ability or talent that does not use a weapon as part of the attack gains a small accuracy bonus based on the level of the character. So, accuracy is just how easy it is to hit somebody, essentially. The higher it is, the more likely you are to hit someone. I don't know if it's like a percentage-based system, or if it's a circumstance-based system. I'm not sure. Reflex. The reflex defense allows characters to dodge out of the way of physically harmful attacks. It's like a character's class, level, dexterity, and perception, but may also be influenced by other effects. Alright, and interrupt. Interrupt determines how likely a damaging attack is to delay the opponent's current or next action. The roll uses an interrupt value from the attack derived from perception that is compared to the target's concentration derived from resolve. A 1 to 100 roll is made, adding the interrupt. If the result is higher than the concentration, the target plays a hit reaction, and their current action is delayed. So, concentration is really good, but if you only have like 20 concentration, then you probably have a pretty high chance of your stuff being interrupted, which is not great. Um, if the result is higher than the concentration, the target plays a hit reaction and their current action is delayed. The duration of the delay is determined by the interrupt strength listed on the weapon or attack. An interrupt applied to a character already suffering from an interrupt with a longer duration will have no effect. Dexterity. Dexterity is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interactions, it can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attacks, spells, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex offense. Constitution. Constitution is a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Although it is not used much in interactions, it is sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance, and contributes to the fortitude defense. So that's a good bit of information as well. Let's start with health. Health is long-term damage, only regained through rest and certain talents. Damage that is not absorbed by characters' damage goes straight to their health and endurance. When a character's health reaches zero, they will either be named or killed, depending on game settings. The main character is reduced to zero. Unlike endurance, a character's health does not get restored after combat, but characters have much larger health values than endurance values. So essentially, I'll read endurance first. Endurance represents a character's short-term survivability. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's damage reduction goes straight to their endurance and health. Potions and healing magic, such as from a paladin, priest, or druid, can restore endurance in combat. When a character's endurance reaches zero, he or she will be knocked out. A knocked out character can be brought back in combat through the use of a revive ability. Otherwise, characters will regain all of their endurance at the end of combat, assuming they are on the winning side. So essentially, you have two life bars. Your first life bar is endurance, which goes down relatively fast, but it comes back over time and is it is reduced fast, but it comes back over time, and you get full endurance after a combat encounter. And then you have health, which is reduced permanently until you sleep, or you have something else that affects health. And if you are reduced to zero endurance, you're knocked out. But if you are reduced to zero health, then you are maimed or killed, which is not great. I'm going to be trying to avoid having characters die. I don't know if permanent character death is a thing. I know that player character death is probably not a thing, but NPC character death, I'm sure probably is a thing. So I'm going to try my damnedest to keep NPC characters alive, but we'll have to see. Fortitude. Fortitude resists attacks on the internal physical constitution. I don't have the highest constitution I could have. I certainly don't have the lowest constitution, because the lowest a square can go is 3. So, yeah. And finally, might. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, but brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as fortitude defense. Alright, so let's go over the one thing. Damage. There are 8 types of there are 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity: slash, pierce, crush, burn, shock, corrode, freeze, and raw. Damage types are used to determine how easily a target resists damage of that type based on their damage reduction. A creature or suit of armor may be very resistant to one type of damage, but quite vulnerable to another. Some weapons or attacks do multiple damage types or list an "or" between their damage types. When an "or" is listed, the attack will always do the damage type that the target is most vulnerable to. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all damage reductions and is generally associated with poisons and similar effects. Alright, now that we've got all that over and done with, I am playing as a fighter. Fighters form the front lines of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure, fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. A common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. I get the constant recovery starting ability. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a moderate rate during combat. Recovery is the amount of time that a character spends between actions. Longer actions result in proportionately longer recovery. Armor also has a large effect on recovery. Generally, heavier armor inflicts longer recovery penalties. So, I got all this shit to worry about and read, but I'll read over that later, probably when I'm leveling up. I have high average endurance, high health, very high accuracy, and very high deflection. It seems to me that fighters the default class for this class that is intended for the player to play as, and you will have the easiest time playing as. That's what I've taken away from what I've played, but I don't know. Cypher could be pretty fun. It seems like a hybrid of melee and magic, like a mage slayer class, or like a mage. I don't know. I know there's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But anyways, I chose fighter. I've got disciplined barrage. The fighter intensely focuses on his training, on his or her training, significantly raising accuracy for a short amount of time. So once per encounter, I can boost my accuracy by 20 for 15 seconds. The other option is a knockdown ability that I'm not too interested in. I think what I want for this character is to get as high an accuracy rating as possible. What I chose human race. Humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in Darawood, the Adir Empire, Old Valia, and Valian republics. Though not as large as towering Alma, humans are known for their strength and willpower. Alright, time to read through all this shit. Oh my god. Alright. Darawood. The Darawood is a colonial nation founded by the settlers from the Adir Empire, following a series of conflicts with Adir. The territory became independent in 2672 AI. Or is that a 1? No, that's an I. And is now ruled by a duke who is elected by 7 earls that oversee its earldoms. Yes, I get it, timer. That is... I've spent so much time in this character creation, but at least I've spent time reviewing the things instead of just tediously going through and making all of the adjustments. And I won't be spending 2 episodes in the character creation, which is good. So I'll just read through all the rest of the stuff that I need to read through, and then I'll end the video. And the Valian republics is a mercantile power and former colony of a larger, more ancient nation, Old Valia. The republics lie to the south of Darawood, but Glunfath and the republics lie to the south of Darawood and Glunfath and are ruled by a duke elected by the Kunsogli Asega or Asegia, a council of 14 dukes, including its 5 most prominent, the Duke's Bells. Alright. And I decided to go with Meadowfolk. Most human Meadowfolk or theater area. Are Thearton, and I get the Fighting Spirit ability. Once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced to below 50 endurance, folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. Very nice. And finally, female. A woman's role in Aora is largely dependent on where she is from. The Adir Empire, Valian republics, and Darawood women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are the primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders. The tribes of